What's going on, everybody? We live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to let it go a little while, give it a couple of minutes, see how many people try to come in this thing. Um, I am Rastafunk. This is Rastafunk Live. We're going to give you the internalized experience. Going to bring some live energy to that. I've been doing that on Facebook for the last um, 10 to 12, 13 years or so. I don't know. As long as I've been on Facebook, I've been doing the internalized thing. And so we're going to bring it to the live audience and to the people at this point. Yeah, yeah. We got our little Cash App going. So, you can hit the original Rastafunk $sign if you are so inclined and you feel like you want to keep this thing going and contribute to the positive things that Rastafunk does throughout the community and the world. We really would appreciate it. And like I said, we're just going to give it a little time for people before we get started. Tonight, we're going to be talking about brittle. Are you or aren't you? You know? Yeah. Are you or aren't you brittle? If you don't know anything about me, I am a musician. You can check out my music on YouTube, Rastafunk channel. And I'm an old school cat, so we do Facebook and we do X because X is, where the real news is. And YouTube because YouTube is where a lot of people are used to going. Eventually, we will be moving over to other platforms that won't be so intrusive on the conversations we're trying to have. But in the meantime, between time, you can catch us on YouTube, catch us on Facebook, catch us on X every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. It'll be Rastafunk Live, Nternalize. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think that I'm coming on one of my Facebook pages, my Rastafunk page, Facebook page, but I believe I need to allow the people on my other Facebook page, my personal Nternalize actually is not on my Rastafunk page. It's on my personal page. My name's Keenan Rowland, and it's on that page, but that's for personal friends because my Nternalize series, it can be extreme. It's funny, and sometimes it's serious, and it's in between those two avenues, but I keep it personal. And the things that I bring out on the live are the things that I feel like are universal themes that we can all, conversate on and all, internalize, you know? Okay. Let me see. We should be live right now. So let me face it. Yes, sir. 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 Boom, boom, boom. Um, yeah, we live. Okay, so I want this to go to, how do I make it go to my other page? Oh, I may have to figure that one out because it's not going to my other page. Yeah, I can't share page to page on Facebook. What's up with that? Yeah, let me just copy the link. Copy the link and go there and then go here. Y'all bear with me for 1 second, everybody. I'm just trying to figure this new thing out. And yes, and we do it just like this. I can share it now. Um, Post. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just did it. Okay. Let me edit this post because I just wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly. Boom, 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 and boom, 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 boom. Yes. Now I did what I was trying to do, everybody. Okay, so it's 8:05. Um, Once again, I am Rastafunk. We have shared this live to with everyone we needed to share it with at this point, and I need to, I need to, I need to send a picture. I need to send a picture to myself. Yeah, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm doing some things at the last minute that I didn't expect to do at the last minute. I expected to have them done prior to the last minute. So please bear with us for a second because we are going to get started with brittle. Are you or aren't you? Hey, you have to answer the question. I'm just going to explain to you what the parameters of brittle are, and then we'll go from there. You know what I'm saying? Boom, we're sending this picture. Yes, 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 yes. Boom, 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 boom. We're sending that picture, and then we're gonna add one more picture. We're gonna add one more picture. Let's go to the images on my phone. No, gallery is where I want to go. And yeah. So yeah, I'm Rasta Funk. This is Rasta Funk live, almost live, because we ain't talking to you like we want to talk yet, because I'm still trying to do a couple of things that I should have done prior to, but we're gonna get it together for everybody. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. That was good to know. Thank you very much, my brother. It's good to have friends in high places. It's also good to have one or two friends in low places, but your friends in the high places are better, believe me. So, if you don't have any friends in high places, I suggest you figure that out and get you some. Because too many friends in low places is going to keep you low. Let's just keep it like that. All right. Doo 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 doo. And we're going to send that. And we just sent it, which was awesome. Of technology. Technology is awesome, y'all. I don't know about nobody else, but I appreciate technology. So I need to download these images so that when it's time, I'll be ready to present them to the people. Boom, and we'll download this one, and then we'll download that one, and we are back, everybody, back in a way that I feel comfortable to get started. It is 8:09. We've been live since 8 o'clock. Every Friday through Sunday, we're gonna be live. Um, and I'm gonna just put it out for the record. Whether we get 1 million followers listening to us doing these little broadcasts, or whether it's just me and this camera, we're gonna put the thoughts down. We're going to put everything down for everybody, as far as our thoughts, so that at some point, worst case scenario, the seeds and the children to be will always be able to know what Rastafunk was talking about and thinking about during his present time. Um, so tonight we're doing Internalize, Brittle. Are you or aren't you? Brittle. Now, my first introduction to Brittle, being from the South, and talking about the southern, southeastern, eastern part of the United States, is peanut brittle. And if you know anything about peanut brittle, it is some of the sweetest candy you will ever eat. And it's an acquired taste. And not everybody likes peanut brittle. I don't eat it often. When I was young, it wasn't one of my favorites. It was just a little too sweet for me. But basically, it's just peanuts and a whole bunch of dried sugar. I was getting a message from a friend. More light on my face. Let me see if I can figure this out to get more light on my face. I think if I go back a little bit and I look up and see, I think it's the hat. If I take my hat off, but I like wearing my hat. So we're gonna figure that out. I put it up some, like they do in the movies. When they're trying to see your face, they make you put your hat up. So if you ever see people in the movies and you're like, why they got their hat up? It would look much cooler if it was down, chilling, like they wanted to. But that's why they keep the hat up in the movies, so that they can see your face. And I was just told that they can't see my face. So let me put my hat up a little bit. And now you can see my face a little bit better, I believe. And we're going to keep it moving and talking about our peanut brittle. And like I said, basically it's peanut in a whole bunch of sugar, and they bake it. And when it's all said and done, it cracks into little pieces. So it's not, you never know if you're going to get a big piece or a little piece of a piece, and you just go crazy on eating peanut brittle, especially as a kid. You know, kids really love that sugar, and peanut brittle is full of it. So that's my first introduction to the word brittle, and brittle in particular. Yeah, I want to not be in front of that light. Yeah, okay, I like this. I like this. Okay, so with that said, my next introduction to brittle, outside of really being peanut brittle, was the actual word brittle, because peanut brittle is called that because when it breaks, you may not necessarily get the piece that you're trying to get. You know what I'm saying? You may not be able to break it into even little pieces because it's brittle. And so it just, once you cook it, it breaks into little pieces when you try to break it up. And so you never know what kind of size or what kind of shape you may get of peanut brittle. Brittle in particular, let's look up the word brittle so that we're functioning on the way that, let's just say, English functions. Not that I'm all crazy about the King's English. I think I'm more crazy about communication, because a lot of times communication is where we um where we're trying to go. And if you understand what I'm saying, then there's no need for you to correct me about a word or some shit like that. All right. Brittle, easily broken, cracked, or snapped, easily disrupted, overthrown, or damaged, frail. That first definition, and the second part of it, easily disrupted, overthrown, or damaged, or frail. That is the most recent brittle that I've come across. Easily disrupted, overthrown, or damaged, frail. That is what we're going to concentrate on tonight. When I say brittle, I am talking about people with that type of spirit, or a community with that type of spirit, or just that type of spirit in general. Um, I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to say that I know everything. And I'm definitely not here to be perfect. I know that I'm not perfect at all. I'm building and I'm trying. And so some of these things that I'm telling you are things that I'm telling myself, things that I'm talking to myself about and just having my own little self conversation. And that's really what internalize is. Internalize is a play off the word internalize with the I. But like I said, I'm not really I'm not a fan, and I don't care about the King's English in that way. So it's not necessarily what I'm dealing with. Anyway, with that said, brittle spirit. That's what I'm dealing with. That's what I'm talking about tonight. Brittle spirits. Now, what do I mean about brittle spirits? How did I come across this? How did it end up in the internalized collection? I'm going to show you, I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to show you a post from my Facebook page. And let me find it. I think that I want to show a window. Yes. And let me open up the window. Boom. All right. Is it this one? Open. Yes. Okay. That's not what I want to see. Close. Close. Okay. Now let's go back here and let's share this screen. Boom. Now I hope everybody can see this. I'm going to minimize for a second. Oh, I maximized. I didn't mean to do that. Let me escape out of this. And we're gonna take this down for a second. And okay, can someone in the if we can someone in the comments please let me know if you can see this. I'm going to make it big again, but when I had it in full screen, could you see it? Could you see the picture that I put up? I think we all can see it, but I just wanted to make sure that you can see it. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, so basically the post is, as you can see, internalize. Well, damn, Kenny Owens. And what I saw was I was sharing another post, and it was about Candace Owens, who in the Black community a lot of people make fun of because of her stance of being a very staunch conservative, and a person that kind of takes shots at our community as often as possible, while being a person of color, being a Black person, being a African American descendant. She doesn't represent us, and and what you'll find on this platform is every now and then I'll go hard on someone, and sometimes it's not worth it. So with her, she's an afterthought to me. I don't really think about her in that way. I don't care about her, whether she's awesome or sorry or anything. But I do know that she's the butt of our jokes a lot of time because of her conservative stance. With that said, when I saw this, two things struck out to me and which made me post it. The first thing was I got the joke that the girl said, "Don't allow this dude to mislead y'all. Stay woke." And I'm like, okay, she's not a man, she's a woman, but at the same time, who cares? Because she's not relevant to Black people who are trying to be progressive. So fuck her. I can laugh at this. I can get the joke. Ha ha. All right. So with that said, the other thing that struck out, the second thing that struck out to me, that stuck out to me was I saw her collarbone being highlighted. And that was funny to me because typically you highlight Adam's apple or something like that to say a woman is a man. And so that was kind of funny to me too, because it was silly, because her collarbone looks like, I've seen women's collarbone look like that all the time, so I don't know if that's not supposed to look like that or not, but it stuck out to me, and I thought it was silly. So those are the two reasons I posted it, because I thought it was, I got the joke, and Candace Owens was not representative of black people or black women to me, so it wasn't like I felt that I was offending anyone. With that said, that was my post for the day. I had some other posts, but oh gosh, excuse me, y'all. I had some other posts, and let me get my camera back right, everybody. Sorry about that. I don't know what I did, but I did it, and the camera moved, so now it's not moving anymore. All right, I think I'll have to elevate my camera in order to get some more light as well, because I feel like I'm having to hold my head up. So I'm gonna figure all that out as we go, if y'all bear with me, but I'm gonna continue the conversation. So that was my post at the time, and I got certain comments, and some people laughed, some people, it was what it was. It wasn't serious to me at all. And understand that social media isn't that serious to me. I don't believe that social media is where you're going to save the world, although certain things slip through the cracks. So, there is some value to it, but for me, it's not that serious. Sometimes I'll say something serious. Sometimes I'll say something funny. Sometimes Nternalize will be something in between, but it's nothing that I'm going to hold a grudge on. Not on social media. Not, I think someone called it cap locking. I'm not going to be going back and forth with you on keyboard and then cap locking and stuff. So with that said, I'm going to read off one of the comments I got, which spurred this thought and spurred this conversation that I'm having tonight, because to me it was ridiculous, and more so than just ridiculous, I just couldn't understand it, and I really couldn't, because why are you so fucking brittle? That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, why are you brittle? What is your problem? You need to do something about your spirit, girl. And so I'm not going to say any names. That's why I didn't post the comment or anything, but I am going to read it. So the comment was, that's disappointing, meaning that I thought it was funny, because she said something that initially she said, I'm surprised. And so I was like, well, it was funny to me, and that was my comment back to her, it was funny to me. And so she said, that's disappointing. I don't find it funny when anyone insinuates that a black woman looks like a man or may be a man, especially at your age, especially now this especially right here was in caps, especially when you're fully aware of the degree of pain and suffering this type of insult has caused black women. I'm going to read that again because I want you to feel it like she was trying to make me feel it. That's disappointing. I don't find it funny when anyone insinuates that a black woman looks like a man or may be a man, especially at your age, especially when you're fully aware of the degree of pain and suffering this type of insult has caused black women. Okay, listen. This is what I said back to her. With all due respect, if this little funny or unfunny, depending, can't just be scrolled by as an unserious, silly thing, then our community ain't gonna ever get this cracker with real guns out of our community and out of our business. And I said something else, but I didn't screenshot the whole thing. Plus, I don't know what else. So anyway, that was basically what I said to her, that, if this type of shit is what's going to offend you when you're on social media, you know, and I have to make this disclaimer. You know, everyone has their own purposes for being on social media, so it may not be um um it may not be for the same reasons that we're on social media and that we're doing these things, you know. I'm moving this up a little bit to see if it helps with the lighting. Hopefully this will move up for me. No, that's not the move up button. This is the move up button. So let's try this. Uh, let's see if this helps. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this did help a little bit with the lighting. Okay, so with that said, I still need to bring it down. So yeah. And then I can come this way a little bit. No, I want to come this way. That's what I want to do. All right. I think we got it. I think this is going to work for a little while. All right. So with that said, brittle spirit, are you or aren't you? Do you have one? Do you need to check that? Do we all need to check certain things about us that may be a little brittle? Because I cannot for the life of me understand why this particular post would be offensive and representative of something that would offend Black women collectively, you know. And for someone to feel like they should be telling me about it shows me that they have a brittle spirit. And I just couldn't believe it, you know. So that is what you know, the theme of everything is about. That's what brought it up, this particular post. And it's so insignificant that I don't even want to keep it up, you know, because I don't want to look at this lady. So we're gonna stop sharing her and go back to the actual Rastafunk. This is my studio, everybody, where we create the magic, the Rastafunk magic. Because by nighttime I'm a musician, and on days that we have gigs, you know, doing music. But I also have an HVAC company, so those who know contact me for consultation and for actual HVAC installs and work. So you know, Rastafunk has a little diverseness about him, and because Africa probably won't be saved by one of Rastafunk's songs. I believe that being able to be in the construction industry and be able to understand HVAC, heating and ventilation, is advantageous to help our people. And it's been advantageous up to this point in my life in helping our people in the community. So with that said, getting back to brittle spirits, I'm sure there are people in your life and people that you know that have that you're like, what the fuck, you know, what is their problem? Why are they, you know, acting like a Karen, or why are they acting this way or that way, you know? And it's really crazy to me when I see that, because I just don't understand how you're going to progress. Part of progressing, even you know, part of progressing as a child and as an adult, part of that aspect of progressing is actually stepping out and having courage. You know, you may not always be brave initially, you know what I'm saying, but having courage to think outside the box and to try things is very important, very important. And if you're going to get, that was my phone, everybody, my little Rastafunk beat. I'm going to ask them to just text me, because I can read a little text, but calling right now is not going to work. So anyway, yeah, man, being brittle is not going to move our people forward. And checking people over a joke that you may not like is not going to create harmony and move us forward as a people. And crazy texts aren't going to move us forward as a people. Um, no, I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. No. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to respond. Yeah, so anyway, she didn't respond back after I told her, that we can't move forward if posts like this are gonna get you up in arms and you feel like you gotta check people. We can't do that. But it did make me want to, conversate. So if it's anybody, that's listening or that's a part of this that wants to chime in or have some kind of come in. You can come on live with me, or you can put your questions about anything or any comment in the chat. I will read it out, and at some point this evening, if we actually do start having a nice little chat, we will post some of the chat. I actually got one of my friends who just came on, so I'm gonna bring him on and add him to the stage, and he'll come on. What's up, Mike?
Hey, turn up, Mike P right here in the place to be.
Turn up.
Yeah. It's been a tough week.
Yeah, man. It's been a tough week.
I'm showing up now. Listen, I'm showing up in my paraphernalia. One time for the Dungeon family. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yes,
One
sir.
time we DF to death.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know what, Mike? Give me 1 second. Mike.
All right.
I'm gonna tell the people that I will be remiss if I did not. Mike, I think I may need to. I don't. Is everybody here in the echo? Or is it just, I just echo with you? Because I may need to go.
Let me turn down for once.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I may have to phone.
No, I have my Bluetooth speaker turned up loud. Let me turn that down.
Okay, that may be what it is.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so with that said, I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out and give a blessing and remembrance to our brother Rico Wade, who passed last weekend, and it's been real hard. It's been real hard for most of Atlanta, and especially the people who know him. If you don't mind, real quick, we're gonna share some screen. I got a couple of pictures. Just gonna do a sidebar since I did show up, and we just gonna talk a little bit about Rico. Let me find a particular slide. Oh no, we can get and
absolutely. I've been seeing your post, and you made a post of a show that we did way back in the old days, and Rico showed up, and if you remember, the guy that opened for us was pants on the ground.
I remember that. Yeah,
I remember pants on the ground opened for us, and it was a Po Body's Nerfic thing, but a lot of people don't know. Rico and I started Po Body's Nerfic together.
Yeah.
And then he turned it over to me.
Yes, sir. And for those who don't know who we're talking about, this is my brother Rico Wade, of the Dungeon family, Organized Noise. He's definitely a legend in the music industry. He's definitely a legend in the South as far as hip hop. Hip hop was going on in the South, but it wasn't completely respected. And when he brought organized noise, brought out Outkast, they put the South on the map. They put the
Basically,
South on the map. They put everybody on notice, and they continue with Goody Mob, continue with TLC Waterfalls, and just continue with Future, and the latest
right.
project that was been a hit is Killer Mike.
Killer Mike, absolutely,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, his portfolio is so diverse. I mean, not to mention Bubba Sparks, not to mention In Vogue. Of course, everybody knows the hit with TLC, "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls," but like there were he had a lot of nuggets. He had a lot of nuggets. Cool Breeze, Watch for the Hook, all the
Mm.
stuff with Outkast, like it really goes on and on. So fresh, so clean.
Mike, do me a
Yeah.
favor. Do me a favor. Whatever app that you came in on, close that one so that you're just on the stream yard because that's where the echo is coming from.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of bad at this. Sorry.
No, you good. You good, bro.
I thought that's what I came in on. I don't know. It says I'm in the show, but
Yes, sir. You
am
in the show?
I
Yeah,
in the know?
yeah, yeah. So just like on Facebook, close that one, and then we good to go. Or mute that one. Mute the Facebook. All right, we good now.
That's cool. That's the show I'm talking about right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We good now. Pants on the ground.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. I forgot about pants on the ground too, but that was during that time. You know, that was during that time where the brothers um they had been wearing their pants down for a while, but it had just gotten
Yeah.
it become too regular. And
And
before
Three said something about it. He said, "Your white tee, well, to me, it looked like a nightgown. Make your mama proud. Take that thing 2 sizes down. Like the big white tees and the saggy pants, remember?"
yeah. That's exactly what he was talking about. But yeah, man, Rico is loved, and everybody who's ever met him has a story.
Yep.
But
Okay.
because they have a story is mostly indicative of who that person was. He was,
Yep.
for the status he holds in the music industry and in a lot of people's lives. Um,
Mhm.
he is not the average quote unquote celebrity. He's the average regular person.
Yeah. 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 I get. I
And
get where you're coming from. I
yeah,
totally
and
get where you're coming
you
from.
actually had a post earlier where it was Rico and this fan, and you made the statement that he never turned anyone down. He took a
For a
picture with
picture.
everybody. While he stopped and talked to everybody.
And you
You
hear
know.
about these other celebrities, and they're mean to their fans. And like, Steve Harvey say, "Look, I don't even want y'all knocking on my door."
Yeah,
That's the people that work for him. Like, but the thing was like the real thing I want to say about Rico is he had top tier talent,
yeah,
signing them to a record deal,
yeah.
but he made sure everybody got their money. He never took people's publishing like these other producers do, and they end up, making more money than you make as an artist. That was never Rico's MO. And that's why he still has a good face card in the industry to this day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Very, very
Yes.
important. Very important.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And then where the rubber meets the road is the music is timeless and classics. So it's one thing to have been behind the scenes or to have been a part of something that's great, but it's all because they actually have classic music. That
Yeah, the music
people,
speaks for itself. The
yeah,
music speaks for itself.
and I tell people, one thing that made me gravitate and really like Outkast and hold them in high esteem is because before Outkast, people were sampling James Brown and
Yep.
sampling, funk songs, but
Mm-hmm.
there was no actual funk hip hop group. There was no hip hop group that could actually say we're funky. They would say it, but they weren't really funky. They was
Yeah,
like
with
hip hop.
with
You know
the
what I'm saying?
live
They was
instruments, with
bebop.
the live instruments.
But
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Outkast,
absolutely,
Outkast,
absolutely.
and don't get me wrong, Too Short pushed the limit. Too Short pushed the limit. So if you want to, say they had some funky music, Too Short had some funky
Yeah,
music.
yeah, and guess what, Keenan? One time for Shorty B,
Yes,
bass
yes. One
player for
time
the
for Shorty
Dangerous
B.
Crew,
Yep. One
and
time for
one
Shorty B.
time for George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, the
Always.
person they was all sampling it from.
Yeah.
But when we talk about Dungeon Family, of course, yeah, they learned from P Funk.
Hmm.
Dr. Dre learned from P Funk. He put out an album that was a whole P Funk album
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
one thing about the Dungeon Family that I learned, when they would take a sample, they would
Mhm.
kind of re-freak it and make it their own. I learned that
Yeah.
from Ray and I learned that from
Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't about re putting out a hit. It's already a hit, so
It's
we just
our
gonna put
yeah,
it out and rap over it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
But getting back to Outkast, it was the original music and the original funk that I really appreciated that Organized Noise actually brought to the game. It was that, because
I
after they did what they did, the South was pretty much known for that for some time. That's You had to have some live instrumentation, you had to have some funk or some soul, or it had to be
right,
coming
right.
with it, you know.
Your pocket.
Yeah, they set the stage, brother. They set the stage. And and I appreciate, Rico on that tip. And I have to and I have to say that aspect because that's what a lot of people know him as, but me personally, I know him as just a nice guy, as a genuine brother,
Straight stand
and,
up guy.
I'm
Stand
glad
up.
I'm able to know him from that level.
Absolutely. Stand
Yeah.
up guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he made sure everybody got their money, man. His face card is still good. Um,
Yes, sir.
he was a pillar for the city of Atlanta on the whole music scene. And guess what? He always showed love to Jermaine Dupri. He always showed love to Dallas Austin. But it was that DF man that made her a little thicker. Like what I mean. Everybody learned how to get money suddenly, but
Yeah.
the Dungeon family, Andre 3000, CeeLo Green, Cujo Goody, Cool Breeze Calhoun, like so the list goes on and on. Little Will, man, you know, Blackberry Molasses. It goes on, and the more we talk about it, the deeper we can understand the real impact. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
I remember. Let me
it's
tell you this
right
one
now.
thing before I
Right
go.
now, Killer Mike just had the hip hop album of the year. He wa-
Absolutely,
he won
absolutely,
all he
and
won
not to
all
not
awards.
and not to mention Future when he took
Exactly.
Future to L.A. Reid to get the same deal, just like he took Outkast to get. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Rico Wade. He was that guy. He was that guy.
Give thanks for the insight, my brother. Give thanks for the insight.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So let me ask you this, Mike. Let me ask you this. Um, we were having some conversations recently, and since I got you, first of all, everybody, I'm gonna pull this down, stop sharing
Uh-huh.
for a second, just put it on me and Mike.
Yeah,
Everybody, just in case you don't know, this is Mike P. This is my brother in the funk in the music. We've been doing music since the early '90s. I graduated with his cousin. Me and his cousin was doing music when we graduated. Mike and his cousin reunited. They started being funky. I got jealous and jumped in the van.
rest was history. Rest was history.
He wasn't gonna go to Funk Land and fly to destination without me. God damn it, So this is my brother. We've been doing music.
And
Yeah,
just to clear up anything, Keenan was the one that introduced me to Rico.
give
Okay,
thanks, thanks.
because their
Yes,
kids went to the same daycare, and they was playing music in the background while they was playing the Madden video game. And Rico said, "Who's that on bass?" Keenan said, "That's Mike P." And that's basically how I came into the Dungeon family. Rico, I played some music for Rico, and he said, "Hey man, I think this will work on the new Outcast album, which was called Idlewild." And the next thing I want to say is Rico Wade, when it comes to the Dungeon family, he believed in everybody. He believed in EJ the Witch Doctor, Cool Breeze, Big Boy solo albums. We were always there. We was always there, man.
yeah.
He never separated himself from anybody, man. And
You
I,
know,
I learned so much from him. I learned a lot from him.
you know,
One time for Ray Murray, one time for Funk, one
yeah,
time for Sleepy Brown. You
yes,
know what I
sir.
mean?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna do that story some justice because it's actually a pretty awesome story. Rico, our son, our children didn't go to daycare together. Rico's daycare, son's daycare at the time was down the street from my house. It was
From your
on the
house. Right,
street.
right.
Okay, so Rico, we developed a relationship where in the morning time, if he would see my car, when he dropped his son off on his way back, he called me and he stopped by and we play some Madden and smoke a little weed and talk about music. Sometimes I play him some stuff. However, I'm real sensitive about people. I'm real sensitive. If you ever meet me, you'll find that I'm real. I'm a real person, and real recognize real. And so I liked our relationship. I didn't feel like I have to push music on the brother, because I know
Yeah, yeah.
everybody's always pushing music on the brother. So every now and then, when I knew I might have something and I wanted an opinion on it, I throw it in the throw a CD or plate or my little track machine. I
Man,
put
I
it.
remember you had like 150 CD changer. This
Oh
is
yeah.
in the old days.
Yes, sir.
This is the
Yes, sir.
old days.
Yes, sir. You know, and so anyway, we were playing Madden one day, and the night prior, Mike had came over and put down this ridiculous bass line and guitar parts for this song. And I have to admit that I knew that if I didn't write something and do something over it, then next time Mike came, he would do something over it and it'd be
Right.
over with. So and when Mike left, I decided to go ahead and write a song called Marinate. And so I was kind of curious how the song came out. So when Reek called,
Honestly, Keenan, you did do the drums for that.
yeah, I did the drums.
You
I
did
mean,
the
well,
drums for
that's
that.
how we work. That's
You
how we
did the
work.
drums for that.
Yeah, I
Yep,
did the
you
drums.
did.
But without the in between notes, you know what I'm saying? Without the in between notes, it might not be as funky. So anyway, recall, stop through. We started playing Madden, and I threw the track on. And so
Dang, that's the one it was. I thought it
we
was. Really want to talk to you.
no,
That was the one.
it
Dang.
was
All
Marinate.
right.
And so he listened to it for a little while, and then he paused the game. He said, "Who is
The
that?"
bass was funky on that though. Yeah.
Man, the bass is still funky on that.
Right.
And so Anyway, and anybody who ever want to check it out, you go to my YouTube channel, Rastafunk, YouTube Rastafunk, and the song is called Marinate. And we put it on the Escape from Pluto album. So if you go to my playlist and go to Escape from Pluto and look for Marinate, and I may even play it. You know what? I should pull it up and play it.
Yeah, we'll pull up. We'll pull up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up and play it while we're talking. So anyway, I told Rico, that's my homie Mike P. I mentioned him to you, and so Rico had a lot going on every day. After Rico would leave me, or his day would start with dropping his son off, and then he might chill for a little bit and get some sleep. But then when he would wake up, he would drive out to Conyers and go get this guitar and bass player Shorty B.
Shorty B.
He did all the bass for Too Short album. So that's how you know Shorty B without actually knowing Shorty B.
Dangerous Crew.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. And so anyway, on certain days I would drive out there with him. We pick up Shorty B, come back, they'll work on some music. Shorty B play da-da-dee-da-da-day. So Rico had everything he needed to continue on the great music and everything they were doing. He didn't need nothing. This particular day, he heard this track. I told him who did the track, and he said, "Hey man, bring it by the studio." And so when he left, I knew Mike would love to hear that. I called Mike, and Mike was like, "Well, I'm ready now." And so I was like, "Hold up." We'll go by this evening once they get popping, because they ain't gonna be popping till this evening. So just come by my house and then we'll drive down there. So Mike did that. He came by in the evening and we went down there. And when we went down there, Rico happened to be picking up Shorty B. So he hadn't made it back yet. So we sat in the studio for about 20 minutes or so till Rico made it back. When he made it back, Shorty B hadn't got all his stuff out the car yet. And so him and Rico kind of came in the studio, met Mike, dapped him up, and Rico started playing some tracks, and Mike started playing bass to him. And Rico started playing some more tracks, and Mike started playing guitar to him. And two things happened after Rico heard Mike play bass and guitar.
What happened?
Two things happened. The first thing that happened was the first thing that happened was Shorty B never went out to the car and got his shit to come in the studio and play that day. He never came and got it because it was somebody already there who was playing bass and guitar and who was capable and doing a very good job. So he never went and got his stuff.
Dang.
The second thing that happened that day was Rico never went and got Shorty B from Conyers again. Like he never went and took that trip again. Like Mike just had took the zish. And for the most part, until this day, that's been Mike's zish, when he was doing something and he needed the person to come do it. He would call Mike, and Mike is pretty much Future's guy. When Future needs somebody to come do it, he called Mike, and that's how it works, So yeah, man, it's pretty awesome, and that is how Mike and Rico met and became musical friends and actually real friends in real life. Yeah, so that's the story. That's the actual story, and it's a great story, and I'm really glad.
But no, what I was saying was, I like to get everybody else's vantage point because I only see it from my eyes looking out, when everybody else in the room could see the other shit that I didn't pick up on,
Yeah. Real quick, if you feel so inclined, inclined, we have our Cash App banner going down. So if you feel some value, if you want to add to the things that Rastafunk is building for the community, for our people, definitely donate to us, and we really appreciate it. And if you got some questions for Mike, got some questions for me, want to talk about an experience you got with Rico or anything, please, the comments are there for you. We are on we're on Facebook, and we're on X. Our YouTube wasn't coming, it's not live tonight, but it will be live. So just continue to work with us and continue to watch us every Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock. We're gonna be right here. We're gonna make Internalize live, and we're gonna have conversations like what we're having right now with Mike. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yep.
So with that said, yeah, Mike, that's not the take. That's not another take. That's the actual thing. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So be Zish. He took his Zish, man. He was the guy, but you have some qualities.
It was the changing of the guard. You know what I mean? And me
Yes,
and
sir.
Shorty B, we still tight to this day. There's no
Oh
love
yeah.
lost.
Oh yeah.
You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Love and
This
respect.
nigga played off so many platinum records, but hey, it was my
Yes.
turn. You know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But I want to give it up to all my teachers, my Uncle Boogie, George Clinton, Rico Wade, of course, my close friends and family, yourself included,
Yes,
my
sir.
Smoke family, Kendra Foster, all my proteges, man.
Cheers to
CC
everybody.
LaFleur, one time for Phil Rich, my
Yes.
engineer,
Yes. Yes, Philip. Philip. Yeah, I gotta reach out to Philip. Philip had called me. He called me oh man, I don't think we've talked since Rico though. No, he texted me since Rico, but he called me before then, and I wasn't able to talk, and I've been meaning to call Philip back. I'm glad you put him on my mind.
Young genius. Young
Yes,
genius. Sir. One time for little Steve too. Little Steve Boyd. My other young genius nephew.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Young Poppy, Nate Turley. The list goes on, man. It's like my Uncle Boogie gave something to me, so I got to give it back to the young generation. And I fuck with him. And Rico was the same way. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna we're gonna take a quick music break, and I'm gonna play that song "Marinate," the one that put you on the scene in Atlanta, as far as it made known and made people want to work with you.
Right. After that, play Into You.
Hold on,
Turn up. We love you, man. We love you.
No. I'm not. I'm saying hold up, because it's on YouTube, and YouTube isn't letting me play it because I'm not streaming live on YouTube right now.
Okay. Everybody can Google it though.
Hold on. I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make it happen. They're not gonna win, right? They're not gonna win.
I just got a text from Cujo Goody.
What's going on, Cujo?
Hey man, turn up.
Turn up for real.
Yeah. It's like the thing was, Keenan, like Rico really brought a lot of people together.
Okay.
A lot of people together, man.
Here we go. I think everybody can see it. Let me know if you can hear it.
I hear it.
This is Mike P on guitar, on bass. Yes, sir. Straight from Hugo, Washington.
Lately, I've been through some changes. Start thinking about life for the finer thing.
All right.
Ain't talking about money, sure and hot to call. Talking about holding hands on the beach underneath the stars. See, I wanna let it never be with you. Spend a little time, conversation. say to you, no, I don't wanna rush it, no, baby. I'm gonna let it be for you. Spend a little time, have a drink or two. That's what you do, baby. I know you will in a short time. But most of those women I'd be hard pressed to find. Yeah, when I saw her pretty flower, I was only pick her face. But when I get her home to the woman, she would never last. That's why I don't wanna rush it.
Right.
I wanna let her make it do. Spend a little time, have a drink or two. I don't wanna rush it, no baby. I wanna let it marinate for you. Spend a little time, maybe make one for two. Now tell me what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what, Keenan? Yeah. 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 Wow. Wow. That was the one, huh?
That started it all, my brother. That
Wow.
started all.
But
Yes,
you
that's
know, I was
what
just thinking about like Rico brought a lot of
oh,
great
see, hold on.
musicians. Rico brought a lot of great musicians together who would
Mm,
probably never have worked together without him. Same thing for George Clinton. He would bring people together that without him they probably wouldn't even know each other. I'm thinking about Chance Parkman. I'm thinking about
mhm,
Dave Robinson. Dave Robbins, the keyboard player. Um, so Dave Wild, Tommy Martin, Preston on the bass, like so many musicians. The whole Wild Peach family.
mhm,
So many great musicians, man. One time for Deborah Killings on the bass. You know, yeah, yeah. His Rolodex was full. You know, but I'm just glad I was able to put my time in. You know, me and Rico had a lot of hits. He was the one. I was working with Rico Wade in the studio, and he had a baby cousin that will come in,
mm,
and we'll be working 5 o'clock in the morning. He be crashed out on the sofa, the baby cuz, right?
mhm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Later he would be Future, and when he needed a guitar player, he called me. So
Me there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when you talk about Mike P, I have spanned 3 generations. I played with Funkadelic, I played with the Dungeon Family, and I played with free bands.
Mm,
All this, all the early guitar stuff with Future, that was me.
mm.
Rihanna, Love and Affection, that was me. It's like three different generations, man. So I'm blessed, man, and I love everybody that believes in me. And Rico Wade was one of my best cheerleaders, man. He believed in me, same way you did, same way my family did, you know. And I just want I'm receiving the love, and guess what? I'm giving it right back, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
Okay, Mike. All right, all right.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
we had a discussion over the last couple of days, and one thing in particular, um, I probably need to ask you why I got you on the
Uh huh.
line so that we can get some expertise
Hmm.
on this. All right, Mike. Stevie Wonder or
Okay.
Prince?
All right. Stevie Wonder or Prince? God damn it. That's a tough one. You know what? I would
What?
have to say they're equal. Because Stevie couldn't even see what he was doing.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. But guess what? Sometimes when you're blind, that makes your other senses more sensitive.
Hmm.
Ray Charles, he would be like third saxophone on the left, you out of key. When you can't see, your hearing is amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to Prince, it's like he was the prototype genius, played all the instruments, but guess what? Stevie did too.
That's right.
So that's why I have to say I would give Prince the edge, but I would say they're even, only because Stevie did not have the gift of sight. Writing songs, or are we talking about who made more money? Prince
Mm.
made more money. Hello?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
Listen.
But yeah, yeah. What is it about? Is it about the money, the songs, the catalog? Now Stevie Wonder's catalog, yeah, but that was a great one. It was kind of like when they said who could do a versus against Dungeon Family, and I was like, shit, only Wu Tang,
Yeah.
only Wu Tang. Let's do it. Let's do it. Only Wu Tang can battle DF, man.
Yeah.
Nobody said it.
What about Death Row? Is Death Row's not a group though? Death Row
It's
is
not
not a
a
group.
they didn't retain their
Because
sponsorship.
really you talking about Wu Tang. Well, Wu Tang is different people. So it would be
RZA,
different. Yeah,
RZA,
you're right. You're right. Only does.
RZA was the Rico of Wu Tang. Hello, yeah, but see, guess what? DF, we had a Yoda, we had a Yoda, we had a
Yeah.
toy Yoda. Listen, we had a Yoda, man. We had a phone CP. Listen,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
You're right.
that. But what I was saying, if you want to do a versus, in my opinion, which
Uh-huh.
means shit, that's the only people that can battle us, man.
Yeah.
Let's do Wu Tang versus DF, and it's just gonna be a celebration. Everybody gonna hug each other at the end because we turning each other up, you know.
Yeah, that would be something nice. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
really kept up with the verses,
No, no, you need to
but I would
listen to
tune
your
into that.
corner. No, what you need to do, you need to listen to your corner and watch for the hook, man.
Yes, sir. I got you. I got you. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir. Yes,
one
sir.
time for Cool Breeze, man. Just
One
talk to my
time for
brother.
Cougar Breed.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
But no, Rico was that guy, man. The whole city is fucked up right now. But I love how everybody is clicking in and showing their love. But the one thing I want to say is Rico did appreciate, and he knew how the city felt about him. So it's not like he did not know. He,
Yeah.
he appreciated the love, man.
Yeah. He was in tune with the street and in
He
tune with the
did.
ground. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He was like, you don't get much more grounded than Rico. For
yeah,
real.
yeah,
You don't get much more grounded than Rico. So,
yeah.
fly on, brother, fly on.
Turn up, turn up.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Mike, what you got going on this weekend? Any gigs? Anything happening worthwhile?
No, I've been kind of shut down lately because I just lost my best friend.
Got
But
you.
at the same time, what I really want to talk about is I have a new gospel artist that I'm producing. His name is Gary Adams, and
Really?
he is so bad. And when I talked to Rico last Thursday, I was saying, "Hey man, I want you to hear my artist. I want you to hear my artist." He's like, "Yeah, Mike. Okay, okay, Mike. I heard you. I heard you. I heard you the first 20 times you said it." like, and that was the last time I talked to my brother, man, and he died the next day. So I'm still working with my gospel artist, man. It's like it's been kind of tough since my father died. So I've been kind of reconnecting with the church, you know, but I'm playing the drums for the church. Like
Really?
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah. But you know, when I see talent, I'm gonna snatch it up. I found found this artist, man. Like he's gonna be a big one. He's gonna be a big one. I just
All
gotta
right.
figure out the way I'm gonna do it, you know.
Okay. So he doing
Absolutely.
original. He doing original gospel, or he got.
I'm the producer. Of course, it's gonna be original.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But no, he's a great one. Just like, you know how you look back and you see signs of greatness, just like how I saw in you signs of greatness when I gave you your name, Rastafunk. And
That's
when
another
Rico
story.
saw signs of great, like when I saw Kendra Foster, I saw signs of greatness. With this artist, I see signs of greatness, man. He's going to be great. I just got to do it right, you know.
All right. We'll be
Yeah,
looking up.
absolutely.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, what we were talking about tonight was people with brittle spirits, and I had did a little post with Candace Owens, and at some point, Candace Owens became representative of all Black women, and me doing a little jokey joke, posting a little funny, got me reprimanded from a sister. And so pretty much I just had to let her know that, you know, if you're gonna have a
She
brother like that, our
she
community ain't
actually
gonna move
responded.
forward. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, you made it. You made it now, Keenan.
Well, no, not Candace. It was another sister. It was another
Oh yeah,
sister
okay.
who was
Okay.
defending Candace. And it was just like, come on now. It is not all it is not, you know, it's either funny or it's not. Keep scrolling. You know, don't ruin your day.
Keenan,
Don't
I
let this
already
ruin
know
your
you.
day.
I already know you. I
Yeah,
already know.
don't let this ruin your day,
And
sister.
no,
Because I
there's a
love you.
term. No, Keenan, there's a term. They call it butt hurt. You got butt hurt over something. I wasn't even talking to you. I wasn't even talking to you. Now you mad. You know what I mean?
But
I
that's
wasn't even
that.
talking to you. Now you mad.
Yeah, yeah. Brittle spirit and butt
Yeah.
hurt. It's the same
Butt
thing.
hurt over something, man.
Yeah, it's the
That shit
exact
didn't
same.
even apply to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
there. I'm there,
don't
my
trip
brother.
on that. Don't trip.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, man, that's what the conversation is about. Is just, you know, we got to check that shit, man. We got and when and you don't want to be insensitive to people, you know, because everybody's going through something, you
Yeah.
know. I'm sure
Right.
that
Right.
certain people got picked on. You know, certain sisters got picked on. I know dark skinned sisters in America have a hard time. But at the same time, if you know me, man, I'm black
Listen,
woman.
Keenan,
Most of my songs are about sisters. I mean,
Keenan. I know, and
75% of my
you're right
songs are
about
about
that.
sisters.
But guess what? Dark skin, light skin, everybody has their problems. It's just it weighs differently on the scale, but it still balances out. Yeah. It's like light. If you're light skinned in a relationship, two light skinned people, who gonna apologize first? Right. So y'all got y'all problems too.
So
Light
y'all can't
skinned
never go
people
to
ain't
bed.
gonna apologize.
You can't never go to bed because you
Hey
everybody.
man, I love you, Keenan. You know, just fuck with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know exactly what you're saying. You stay up all night because you know you can't go to bed mad, so you stay up all night
No, I'm mad too.
in
Goddamn it,
different rooms. You stay
I'm
up all
mad
night in
too.
different
I'm mad too.
rooms. Yeah, man. That's what's
Hey,
up.
Keenan, I gotta go. I just made some shrimp tacos. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there in Funkland. We love you, man.
My brother, I appreciate you for stopping by. Tell you, Karen, I say what's up,
Absolutely.
you know, I'll be calling in on you. We're gonna do this every weekend, so you know, if you know me, you're gonna get to know Mike P.
All right. You a star, man. I love you, brother. In a minute.
All right, love you too, brother. Peace. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate the brother for stopping through. He's my man. We've been doing music for over 35 years. That is a long time. But it is real, you know. We was talking about that the other day because wow, you know, that's a long time. That's longer than a lot of people than have lived, you know. So appreciate that, brother, and appreciate you know, the memory of Rico Wade. You know, we lost a good brother, you know, and that's a very personal thing when I say that because I mean, and when I say personal, I mean it's selfish, you know, because you know sometimes pick up your phone, you want to call your brother, and you know he's not there right now to call. You know, so that's a personal and a selfish thing, but at the same time, on a bigger stage and on a bigger commemorative way, you know. It's a lot of people that he touched, and he lived life to the fullest, my brother. You know, this thing called life, he did it well. He did it very well. We should all be so lucky, you know, to have a legacy that will last as long as music is played. As long as you know you have this recorded thing and this technology, you're going to be listening to um, good music and some of the best hip hop that was made throughout the mid to late 90s, throughout the early 2000s was coming straight out of Atlanta, was produced by Organized Noise, and was artists that they all came up together as the Dungeon Family. So the pretty much the known head was Rico Wade, you know. So bless up to the brother, fly on, my brother Rico. With that said, we're gonna continue on. You know, and the brittle spirit thing, you know, we don't have to beat it into the ground, but it was something that was interesting, something I wanted to at least talk about a little bit today because Mike hit the nail on the head when he said the sister was butt hurt, and I get it. Sometimes, you know, you may have some personal things in your life where certain things trigger you, you know, and I get that. And you know, unfortunately, we also have to be able to step up and point out when, hey, this shouldn't be the thing that triggered you. We got to get past that, you know. You got to man up, grow up, woman up, whatever up you need to do, you need to get it together because in order for us to move forward, um, it can't be simple words and simple jokes that someone thought was funny. You know, now it's one thing to be totally insensitive, but that wasn't insensitive in my opinion. If you think it was, definitely in the chat, let us know. We can discuss it. I'm not perfect. I may maybe I got it wrong. Maybe every woman who saw that's black feels offended as well. You know, I don't know. So you know, it is what it is. We will be back tomorrow evening. We will be back Sunday, and for the foreseeable future on the weekends, we're going to be coming back talking to you about the different thoughts and the different current events. Some things, like I said, it's going to be a very serious conversation. Sometimes it's going to be a funny conversation. Sometimes it be in between, you know. But we're going to try to at least have a good time, get it off our chest, get it off our mind, and you know, hopefully, we'll all learn a little something as we go. Sometimes, you know, you learn things by just verbalizing them into the air, and you're like, "Hey, that sounded stupid." I should have thought about that a little more. You know, and you know, so it works both ways. Sometimes we'll be saying things that we know is right on point. um and that's what it's all about. When it's all said and done, is creating conversations that can push us forward as a people, that can create camaraderie, community, and you know, keep us moving forward together, because that's the main thing, that we can't go backwards, we can't stay stagnant, and we got to move forward. You know, what are the things that move us forward? uh Technology. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely one of the things that moves us forward. I would also say um humanity. You know, we have to learn that living over here in the West, humanity isn't a big deal. It's all about survival, and survival of the fittest, you know, and that works to a certain extent. But if that's all you got, then you can see within the African American community that that's not going to take you nowhere, you know. So you have to have a mixture of the technology and the humanity in order for it to move forward and actually be um, what we need it to be, you know. For people to want to actually be get with what you got going on, you got to have a plan that's going to move people forward economically, financially. They got to be able to live, they got to be able to eat. You know, you can talk that shit you want to, but um, if you ain't got no plan for the people to help them out, you ain't got no work, you know, if you ain't got no jobs, you're not creating businesses, then you know you're gonna lose people's attention very quickly, especially over here in the West, you know, and especially with motherfuckers with brittle spirits, you know, because what happens with the thing about a brittle spirit is it allows you to create excuses not to do, excuses not to move forward, because what you're creating barriers, and the more barriers you create, the harder it is to move forward, especially with someone. Because what happens is, if people see you got barriers, or you always creating barriers, they're gonna leave you. They're gonna keep moving. They're gonna take the easy road, or they're gonna go ahead and do the hard work and get it done. You know, so the brittle spirit thing is not it's not attractive, and it's not strong, and it's really weak. And if we're going to move forward, we got to raise strong children, and we got to be strong examples for those children, because they see you being brittle, they're just going to be brittle spirits as well, you know. And that's the main thing that, you know, was concerning for me, you know. And because, like I said, I understand everyone's not the same. Certain people have things that trigger them. Certain people have certain pasts that, you know, they just didn't have it easy when, you know, as they grew up for whatever reason, you know. But when it's all said and done, you know what I'm saying? Um, that brittle spirit shit is not going to get us forward, and you have to be able to check it, and you got to let people know. I see I got another friend that just is stopping through. I'm gonna open up the stage and let him in, so we can do a little bit more conversating. What's going on, Heru?
What up, man?
Oh man, life, no parole, making the best time possible. You know how we do it.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
Yes, I. Yes,
Yeah,
I.
I
Everybody, this
caught the
is Heru.
conversation.
Yeah, everybody, this is Heru Fariada. If you don't know him, if you do know him, but just in case, just as it says, African Renaissance man. The brother is healing people. The brother is building factories. The brother is growing fruit trees and has an orchard and a farm. You know, so he's actually a modern day Imhotep, because not many people are doing a lot of things well. We have a lot of jack of all trades, but masters of none. He doesn't happen to fit that mold. He happens to know what he's doing and all that shit he's doing. So, what's up, brother?
Yo, it's all good, man. Congratulations on your first live, man. I'm enjoying it
Give thanks. Give thanks.
thoroughly. You know,
Give
it's better than CNN. It's better
thanks.
than you know what I mean, MSNBC. I definitely prefer to be having you on my phone or on my computer or on my TV than Wolf Blitzer or Rachel Maddow. or any
Yeah.
of these people. You know what I'm saying? So
How
I'm
about
glad
that?
that you took the step to do this, man. I think it'll be a good thing for people in terms of just vibes and
Give thanks. Give
Yeah,
thanks.
man. I heard the conversation with you and Mike. I had some questions for Mike. Too bad he left, man.
Oh man. Oh man. We'll get him back on. We'll get him back on. Well, if not
Yeah,
tonight, it'll be another night.
yeah. I wanted to hear. Really, he plays instruments like a superhero. So every
Yes.
superhero, he's one of the most skilled guitar players on this planet, and every superhero has an origin story. So I want to hear
Yes.
his origin story. You know what I'm saying? I was really
Okay.
curious how he learned how to play, what it took to get there. Like if he was to make a clone of himself from childhood, what do you do to be able to play guitar that proficiently? You know what I mean? I'm interested in the steps involved in musical greatness like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you one step that um made him go guitar over bass that
Hmm.
you'll enjoy because it's all about the alley oop.
Okay.
Prince
I love alley
played
oops.
guitar and the girls like Prince,
Hmm.
so Mike was gonna play guitar.
Got it.
So
Got
he's still a master at bass, but guitar was
it.
he saw
Okay.
he saw how Prince was doing it and how the girls was doing it, as Prince was doing his thing, and he was like, I
Yeah.
want some of that. I want
That's
some of that action.
that's quite a noble motivation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I appreciate that. I
Yes, sir.
mean, why did we do anything when we were young boys and young men? We did it for the girls, man.
Oh, man. Woo.
We did it for them. You know what I'm saying? Like when we played football, we played basketball. We wanted to make sure that the honeys was around to see what was what.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know intrinsically that women, women wait at the finish line. They don't wait at the starting line. They wait at the finish line to see who's the winner.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
it motivates us to become winners.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man. So
Exactly.
that's the energy. So yeah, I want to ask him that question, man. And
Yeah.
I want to know in your show, when I talk to you, you have a lot of excitement for sports. Are
Yeah,
you
man.
gonna, in this show, you're gonna be breaking down because I know you're an ex-football player and an ex-track star.
Yeah,
So you're
man.
gonna get into some of that and like some of the mechanics. Because what's so crazy is I stopped watching sports some time ago. But I
Hmm.
always enjoyed when you talked about it because you weren't talking about it just from a fan point of view. You always talked about it from almost like a coach's point of view, like what this team did wrong, what that quarterback did wrong, what this wide receiver. Because you used to play wide receiver, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would love to hear some of those, pieces of commentary from you.
Well, I think as we move forward, and as certain aspects of popular news come up, and something in the sports may rise above, the other news. I definitely touch on it. As football season, moves a little closer, I'll probably talk a little bit, add a little football conversation in there,
Hmm.
as it becomes relevant, because you're right. I love football and sports in particular is something that I have an affinity for, and I try to keep up with. Typically, more around the championship times when you're talking about basketball and you're talking about baseball, and even like golf. It's more around. I may watch some golf or some soccer, and it's more around the championship bouts or the championship meets or whatever, as opposed to keeping up with the dailies. So, but with that said, I appreciate that, my brother, and we'll definitely planned on adding that as we move forward because that's what it's about. Moving forward, you got to swing the hammer sometime, but after you do that, you got to relax. You got to be able to shoot the shit.
Oh, absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
sir.
man,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. Because
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's what I try to tell people when I do my show. a lot of people know me as being a very serious person, but I like to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And we're well balanced people. And so this is just a window into our lives as to how we normally talk, instead of just like putting up an image for the world. No, y'all people just need to get the real. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I wanted to ask you, uh, when's the next time Rastafunk's gonna play live, man?
Ah, man. Right now, the only gigs we have this year come up at the end of the summer. We're gonna do music in the park. They haven't found the actual location. It was at Piedmont Park last time, but I'm not sure where it's going to be yet. And we're going to do the Collard Green Festival um,
Hmm.
at either in September or the end of August. So those are the two gigs we'll be doing this year. We're not doing Malcolm X. There was a mix up with the scheduling, so and we're not going to do Juneteenth. Juneteenth is pretty nice, but it's a little the particular Juneteenth, and who knows, we may be asked to do another Juneteenth, but the main Juneteenth is just a little too commercialized, and
Okay.
it's a lot to it. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll see what else may come up. But those are the things we
Okay.
got so far.
Now I see you spoke about Candace Owen.
Yeah,
Want to
man.
throw in a little 2 cents about that? She's a much she's a much maligned figure, and I think in a lot of ways misunderstood.
Okay.
Um, I just want to give a perspective, and the perspective is you familiar. I don't know if you're familiar with what a polemic is, right? Or polemics is. So
Okay.
polemics 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 is when you throw out an argument that may be provocative, that you not necessarily believe yourself, but you can understand the modality of the argument. You can understand why the argument exists.
Okay.
And for this provocative claim to actually cause conversation. So I have a polemic about Candace Owens.
All
And
right.
I'm going to take it back to this cat named Thomas Sowell.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. So you know where I'm going with this. So
Yeah.
when I was younger,
Hmm.
and of course, we into the same vibe, right? We
Yeah,
into
man.
Pan Africanism, we into all of that, and we into the John Henry Clarks and all that. But even before that, it was mainly the Malcolm X energy. Before you start getting into all of these scholars, right?
Yeah.
That backs up, your identity around Malcolm X's stances.
Hmm.
So during that time, you're around a lot of people who are in the quote unquote activist community, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so in when you're in these activist communities, many times you're kind of told who to like and not to like
Yeah.
before you actually evaluate what the person is saying.
Exactly.
And you may even disagree with that person at the time, but a lot of times there's a certain energy that when you're looking to dislike someone, anything that they could say or anything about them you look for, right? In other words, if you're looking for it, you can find it, right? Um, and so what was so interesting is that as I got older, so Thomas Sowell was seen as what they call a black conservative. And the
Exactly.
black conservatives were always seen as quote unquote Uncle Toms, right? And we're always seen as people who really are into like the worshiping of white folks, basically.
Hmm.
And in many aspects they are. But what that did was is that it made me have a knee-jerk reaction to people without listening to them,
Hmm.
right? And so some years ago, probably a decade ago, I ran across a quote that really kind of changed my orientation to people. And the quote was, "The noblest of men knows that he has something to learn from everyone he speaks with,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times we get into listening to people and feeling like, oh, this guy is dumb, this guy's stupid, he's a black conservative, he's a sellout, blah, 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 blah. We turn our eyes away and our ears away from listening to this person, not knowing that we never agree with any one person 100%,
Exactly.
right? And we probably never disagree with anyone 100% either, right? There may be people saying certain things generally on their platform that you don't like because they are conservative, but or what they would call a white conservative, whatever. But that white conservative that you don't like, that's a Republican, may say things about the concept of family that you do like,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so what I found as I've gotten older, they say there's a saying that says, if you aren't a radical when you're young, then you have no heart.
Mm.
If you aren't a conservative when you get older, you have no brain.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? It's an interesting thing, right? So now as we've gotten older and we've become more mature men, you and I, we met in our 20s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Since that time, we've gotten married and had children,
Yeah, man.
right? So the things that we find very, very important to us have changed a bit, even though we're still the same guys.
Yeah.
But by having, wives and children, it puts your perspective in a different place at times.
Yeah.
And what I found was, as I've gotten older, I've listened to Thomas Sowell, who was supposed to be arch enemy of Black liberation thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would listen to him and find myself agreeing with just about everything he's saying.
Mm.
In the sense of his analysis of Black America. And he traces it back. And I think people would do well to check out some of it. So if you don't know Thomas Sowell, um, he's a he's an economist who's tried to understand the economies of the world, which requires you to learn history and then to also make value judgments on why certain societies have been successful and some have not.
And behaviors.
Yes. So he has a hell of a lot of insight. He's a very old man. He's probably around 90 now. He was an old
Oh,
man when I was in university.
wow. You're
Yeah,
right.
he's about 90 years old now. And
Yeah.
he was much maligned as a Black conservative, don't listen to them. But as I got older, I started listening to, so he has a series where he talks about Black culture in America actually being redneck culture and
Yeah.
tracing that redneck culture back to um,
Scotland and Ireland.
yes, the highlands of Great Britain,
Yeah.
right? And I thought it was very, very interesting. He had a lot of insight on it. He even had a lot of linguistic stuff that he had in there. I advise everyone to watch it. And this might be a topic that I talk about on my show now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's very profound.
It is.
But what I found throughout time is when I listen to these people that call Black conservatives, their main issue is Black folks in our behavior and not knowing what's appropriate and what's not, and what's necessary to actually thrive in a place like America. Now, the knee-jerk reaction would be, oh, that person is married to a non-Black person, or, oh, this person only got criticisms for us. But if you are going to invest in a company, you want to look at the history of that company. You want to look at the culture of the company, their projects that they've succeeded in, and their forward outlook. And if you were to put the behavior of Black folks into a corporation, many people would not invest in a company like that because you would say that company ain't ready in terms of what, quite seriously,
No,
in
you're right.
terms of people celebrating people coming out of jail more than people coming out of college.
Yeah.
You know, the culture that has been foisted on black folks in America, which we come to find out was not really headed by black folks, is these record companies headed by other folks who then control the cultural conversation as to which artists get signed and what messages get done. So, you know, you can do songs about killing niggas on the block, but you certainly can't do songs about killing Israelis.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
One is acceptable and one is not. And
Yeah.
so when we start looking at the behavior of black folks in terms of, you know, what they call black on black crime, we all know all of that. The criminality that's been normalized within black societies in America, and these people actually giving you where it came from, telling you it's unacceptable. We can't look the other way. This is
Mm.
not something that will cause us to thrive as a people. And then the concept of family, you know, deadbeat dads. And, you know, me and you were fortunate to have dads in our lives.
Yeah.
And we both know that without our dads, we'd be completely different types of men.
Yes, sir.
And what we know also is that having a dad in your life that was always in your life also imbues on you a sense of duty, because you've now had someone to imprint off of and say, because we find ourselves in our relationships with women, particularly when we get married and have children, when we find ourselves in a compromised situation, I think you and me probably say, what would my father think right now?
Boy.
How would he look at me right now? And that snaps me right back into place.
Yes, sir.
I'd be like, no, my father wouldn't take this bullshit, or my father wouldn't allow this to happen, or my father, you understand what I'm saying? And my father would be looking at me, shaking his head. So
Yeah.
when they talk about the fatherless homes and then the knee-jerk reaction from people on the quote unquote left who have adopted feminism where men aren't necessary in the feminist equation, you'll notice that a lot of what these black conservatives have been saying in terms of the social aspect of black America is actually on point. You can make as many excuses or reasons, but at the end of the day, mommy and daddy need to be raising a child. It should never be normalized or seen as okay that the father is not involved.
That's right.
On the father's side and the mother's side, the mothers who don't want fathers to be involved and fathers who themselves don't get involved. This is not anything that should be normalized, but it has become normalized. And when you hear the black conservatives talk, there's a strong sense of family. There's a strong sense of masculinity. When you hear Candace Owens talk, she's not a feminist. She believes in her husband taking the lead, in her actually engaging in her duties as a woman. So she believes in gender roles. She doesn't believe in the fluidity of roles, and the gender roles is what's actually taken us from time immemorial till now. That the men have a duty and the women have a duty. And when the men don't conduct their manly duty, the women stop being respectful and admiring of the men. And when the women become masculinized, the men don't want to hang out with the women because or spend time with the women because male energy repels male energy. Or let's just not male, let's call it masculine.
Yeah.
Masculine energy repels masculine energy. So there's no man in his right mind who actually enjoys being around a masculine woman. So when you start hearing these black conservatives, although Candace Owens is not married to a black man, when she talks about the concept of family, when she talks about the concept of manhood and the concept of marriage and having children and a stable family, there's a lot she says that I agree with. The also her analysis about what has become publicly acceptable in Black America. She has a lot of values that my grandmother would agree with, that your grandmother would agree with. You understand what I'm saying? So when we get these sound bites of these folks and we call them Uncle Toms and crackers, a lot of times we're not really doing them full justice by going chapter and verse of what they're saying. We tend to throw out the baby with the bathwater because we think that these people worship white folks. But it does not take away 1 + 1 = 2. If 1 + 1 = 2, it's true no matter who says it. Right? So I found it interesting for you to bring up Candace Owens because I've actually listened to her and I've listened to what because I didn't understand what the big deal was about her. Now she went on Joe Rogan a couple of years ago and she embarrassed herself. She started talking about climate change and kind of repeating right-wing talking points. And Joe Rogan kind of pushed back on her with some things and she just didn't know how to answer it. I think that she's grown in time and has done more research. Recently, she has gotten a huge education on Israel. She allowed herself to be educated by a very great scholar called Norman Finkelstein. I don't know if you've ever seen that interview, but you should check it out. But Norman Finkelstein is one of the leading scholars on Palestine in the conflict with Israel. And he is pro-Palestinian. However, he's Jewish. And his parents died in Auschwitz. I mean, his grandparents died in Auschwitz. Actually, his whole family was killed in Auschwitz besides his mother and father. They're the only ones who made it.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him on Democracy Now!
And I've seen basically her asking him questions, and they weren't these gotcha questions. Norman Finkelstein was basically saying what happened on October 7th when they invaded, when the Hamas came and killed the Israelis, parachuted into Israel territory or paraglided in. Finkelstein was basically, he was analogizing that to Nat Turner, right? In terms of what Nat Turner did. Yes, it was brutal. Yes, it killed a lot of people who were, seemingly innocent. But there's this thing called rage when you've been tortured as a people. And it's almost like that Chris Rock joke about O.J. Simpson. I'm not saying I agree with what he did, but I understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I watched her conduct herself interviewing him, and I could see the look on her face because she just didn't know any of the information, and she actually works for Ben. She worked for Ben Shapiro, and you could see the light bulbs going on in her head when she's getting this information, and she's pushing back, and she ends up losing her job.
Yeah,
because she's not taking what they're feeding her, hook, line, and sinker. So it made me respect the fact that, okay, she's not a shill who just goes with whatever white folks say, or white folks in power say. She was actually showing intellectual curiosity by asking some very good questions. And you could see on her face, she was shocked by the answers she was getting because she didn't know this information. And now she's posting regularly, and most of what she posts about, bro, is basically anti-power structure of the U.S. She's anti-CIA. She's anti the hidden powers of the state. She's anti most of these politicians. She's anti the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex. Many of her tweets that she makes sounds like you or I could have written them. Real shit. And so I'm saying that to say that the American media has a way of giving us sound bites and not the full course meal of topics and people. And that we would do well to do our own deep dives and then make our own decision, and not just a sound bite that you think sounds ridiculous, but listen to where this person's coming from and where they might stand on other issues that you might find yourself agreeing with. Because if you don't take that approach, you end up falling into where most black folks fall into every 4 years and just vote Democrat. And I'm not saying to vote Republican, but what I'm saying is there's really no reason to vote Democrat. I don't believe there's any reason to vote Republican either. But what I'm saying is that to just give up your vote every 4 years to the Democratic Party, you literally could just send in advance votes for the next 50 years, right? Like most black folks could just send in an advance vote for the Democratic Party for the next 50 years and don't even
show up,
do anything. Yeah, and don't even know who the candidate is, because that's where you're gonna vote.
Yeah, just stay in bed. You're good.
Just stay in bed. Just stay in, and then pass the votes on down to your children so they can vote another 50 years for the same party, regardless of who the candidate will be. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's my analysis about Candace Owen. I think that she deserves a review, and then for people to actually decide what they agree with and what they don't agree with. And I think that a lot of our people, particularly who believe in family, like the family unit, and how it's completely upside down in America with all of this gender confusion that's going on, you find yourself agreeing with people on a whole different side of the political aisle than you, particularly when you yourself have a family, you have children, you want to guide them a certain way.
Yeah.
So, so I thought it was interesting you brought her up.
Well, all right. So this is my take on Candace Owens, and you've broadened my take on Candace Owens, and so here's the thing. All right, so probably around the Joe Rogan time, I personally wrote her off, because she was messy in a lot of arenas, not just the Joe Rogan interview. And so with that said, I hadn't been keeping up with her. You see her face and it's like, whatever. And you keep it moving. And then you may see a meme or a joke, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes who cares, and keep it moving. However, recently there was chatter about don't be trying to come back to the black community. Nobody want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of deal, right? Because of certain interviews and people she dealt with. Then from the outside looking in, when she got fired, I knew it was something to do with something, some mistakes she made where Crackers was kind of putting her in her place. But I hadn't known the whole ins and outs, and I didn't go checking for it. What you're telling me is that she has she's learned some things and has gotten better in how she's trying to commentate and view things, and that's fair.
Yeah. I would say more than anything, she's displayed intellectual curiosity.
That's fair.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah,
she's displayed intellectual curiosity. And then the crazy. You say you never really liked her, or has she? I can't remember. Has she said anything that you disagree with? Like, what has she said that you've actually disagreed with?
So for her, okay. So here's the thing for me. It's okay to be conservative. I don't judge that. What happens when you're conservative a lot of times is you actually do have certain crossover things that we agree on. Like for instance, economics is real. So having a certain mindset in capitalism works. Also, I'm also about the natural family. What they don't want to be natural. They want to equate everything else with man and woman, and how procreation of man and woman is how you have the choice to think and be whoever the fuck you want to be at that point. But unless you went to a scientist, it was man and woman procreating that made it all happen. So there's nothing that equates to that in my mind. But with that said, there are a lot of conservatives that would agree. so with that said, I get that aspect, and that I don't fault anyone for. Um, what happens is I need you to be able to understand how we get solutions.
Right.
Part of how we get solutions is acknowledging exactly what's going on. You know, what you're saying at this point is she's acknowledging a little bit more of what's going on. You know, not just commentating on, um, without a family, how can your community do this and do that, and how can you be in this, and it's like, okay, I get what you're saying. You're right. The family is important. However, we ain't just not we ain't just decided not to have a family. It's certain barriers we're dealing with, and you don't seem to acknowledge those and come with solutions on how to get over those. It seems like you just want to comment on that one. It's almost like she came with a little sharp stick and gonna come and keep poking you in different parts of your side as soon as you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like that,
Okay.
that's how she came off, so it's not
Okay.
like you totally disagree with everything, but I need I we came up on John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben and people who had commentary, but they moved to solutions as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And they were only able to do that because their commentary a lot of times was dealing with foundational things that we had to overcome or that we had lost, you know.
Right.
And as an African, you have to acknowledge that shit, in order to move forward. So when you're of a certain age like us and a certain wisdom, when people coming on the scene just talking shit, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, girl? The fuck are
Right.
you talking about? So that's where I'm coming from with her, and like I said, from years back, I had wrote her off, so it was nothing serious, no serious thought put into anything.
Mm.
Anything I, even, the first serious thought probably I've had on her was just you saying what you're saying about how she was and how, the intellectual curiosity has seemed to be something real about her. And I can respect that, because
Yeah.
like I said, it's not about you being a conservative. Even the Thomas Sowell thing, it was, for me, it was the same thing, but you gave me a different outlook only because he's really, for lack of a better way of putting it, he's okay. So I went to Staples today to get the camera, right? And the guy might have been our age, and he was absolutely born to do what he does. He was just absolutely born to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the real world, he would be laughed at, he would be picked on, he would be not seen as valuable at all, soft or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't even no little person, but at the same time, he was I would not be doing it justice or um giving it its due if I said he was a nerd. Like, that ain't, he was way past that.
Mm.
However, he was right where he was supposed to be, doing exactly what he was supposed to do.
Okay.
Shit I needed, he knew exactly what that shit was, told me real quick, and it went on by this. It was just like, it was like perfect. And he was in the perfect place doing what he perfectly supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? He ain't supposed to be on the street dealing drugs. He ain't supposed to be at the club. He ain't supposed to be being cool, or pretending to be cool like everybody in Atlanta is, that type of deal. He was doing it, and when he get off, he gonna probably go home and get on the computer. You know what I'm saying? And do some, you know what I'm saying? It's like, whatever it is, oh man, it was awesome, just to think about it. And that's how I've learned to see Thomas Sowell. You know,
Mm.
yeah, he's not focused on anything but his lane and
Right.
understanding the shit he talking about. And so What you talking about and what you thinking about, he don't give a fuck about because he's not looking at it that way. Because you can't get to point Z without going. It ain't no in between letters. It's not like music. You know what I'm saying? You can't bend
So he was when you were younger. You saw him as like an enemy of the people too, or somebody not to listen to. Had you heard of him before?
No, it's the same thing. It was the same thing. See, to me, I don't look at it like that initially. You know, you really have to be like for instance, what's the broadcast guy from over in California? Steve Coakley actually did a debate with this guy, Larry Elder. Larry Elder, I do not fuck with. Larry Elder, but because of how he came up and where he came from, it wasn't even. It was he's like he's that guy that before the Haitian Revolution came, he's one of those people they got rid of. You know what I'm saying? Like we clean house first, then we go cut them crap. So he's
I haven't done any type of deep dive with Larry Elder. So
and Larry Elder comes off similar. He'll say some things that are sensical. You know what I'm saying? However, no. And only because when you with Steve Coakley is very much like you. He listened to lyrics and he know, but in the way that he has receipts in how he's researched and so when he talking to you, it's like, okay, I know who the fuck you've been sleeping with. I know who the fuck you know what I'm saying? I know who paid you. You know what I'm saying? This person pays you. Tell me this isn't a receipt of you getting paid and a copy of your check. You know what I'm saying? That's how Steve took over. Like he on the chain. So anyway, Larry Elder just stays in his lane. You know what I'm saying? And he's really focused on what the fuck he's doing as an economist, And so I respect.
You talking about Thomas Sowell?
I mean Thomas Sowell. Yeah, you're right. So that's
no, but I'm saying, like, what did you hear about him before you actually started looking at any of his work?
It was more about. See, he has the solutions. All right, but his solutions. Okay, so however you add up moving forward, it's going to be technology. It's going to be your family being the family unit being together. It's going to be a certain moral element. It's going to be certain things. So no matter how you do the equation, you're going to always come out with that same answer. And so with him, he's just giving you the answer. He because this is what, and he's dealing with bottom line type shit. Because that's like, it's kind of like how you say the numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, he's only dealing with the numbers. And because he's dealing with the numbers, it's not about feelings. It's not about Nat Turner. Right. It's not about Haiti. It's not about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not, that's how he can tell black people that, your ghetto shit is Scottish. It's from the Highlands. It's not whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's that. You know what I'm saying? It just is. I'm just letting you know that's what it is. So
when you watched that, I remember sending you that documentary. Mm-hmm. When you watched it, were you surprised at appreciating what he was putting out? Were you surprised that, oh damn, this guy Tom? Because that's what happened to me. Once I started watching his material my own, I was like, damn, 20 years ago, I hated this guy because I hated his name, but I never really looked deep into his work. I just saw him as like, oh, this dude is a Sambo, because everyone around me was saying he was a Sambo and he's a black conservative. And you get what I'm saying? And black conservative always just meant somebody who was kowtowing to the white power structure. Yeah. But when I started like watching his lectures and his documentaries and how he explains things, like he has a documentary people should watch called Why Africa is Poor. And in it, he does something that no one else has ever done before.
Yeah, he talks about the ports.
Yeah, he talked about the ports and how Africa lacked deep water ports. to be able to have ships come in and bring, so it cut Africa off from maritime commerce in many places. And so that affected development in terms of the sharing of technologies, ideas, advancements, goods, services. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought it was profound. It was like this is a very important point that I never knew about. You know, so it just let me know that many times we're even propagandized to not like somebody without doing our own investigation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like
Right.
even Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
right? As someone in the movements I was involved in, Martin Luther King was seen as a punk until I started listening to Martin Luther King myself.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a big time philosopher.
Yes, sir.
Like when you actually listen, like past I Have a Dream, and listen to the man talk and talk when he talks about his trip to Africa when he met Nkrumah and these people. Like he was a great thinker. You
Yes.
may not agree with some of the things he did, his tactics for us, but to be completely honest, militarily, we weren't ready.
Yeah.
Not that we should have been laying down and letting people bite us with their dogs, and but like literally, we weren't ready militarily as a
Yeah.
people to be able to do anything substantial that wouldn't have caused
And,
severe loss. You
and,
understand? We weren't ready.
and not to offend some of the brothers and sisters, but to bring it back around, bring full circle. It was the intellectual curiosity that you can respect about him the most because of his growth as a person. By the time he was assassinated.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
You saw it. He was becoming more of a Pan Africanist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now,
Looked like he got our great scientist brother Ashagun Henry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, brother?
Yeah,
Ashagoon. I see
he
you on
gave
here.
you a fist bump there.
Yeah, man.
Big up Ashagun.
You know, um, it's interesting. I say this because kind of like a airplane carrying a banner in the sky, it crossed my mind when you said when you just said what you said about him growing and everything, and Malcolm X. Um, it's King ended up being more of a Pan Africanist. Malcolm X was interesting, and I only say this in no disrespect to Malcolm X, because you cannot disrespect Malcolm X. But Khalid Muhammad, he made a comment, and it's always funny to me to think about it because it's a certain truth to Malcolm X's life and his truth, but Khalid Muhammad is a certain truth to his down and dirty shit too. And so Khalid Muhammad was like, I don't want to disrespect Malcolm X, because he kind of like what I was saying, he is who he is, and but I just want to point out, that I've been to Mecca several times, and them crackers, they don't be with black people like that. and and so when it was all said and done, he was saying, that they ain't over there praying with black people, all like they playing with him as a diplomat and as a person of stature, you know what I'm saying? And so he just said that that was something that he ain't necessarily want to agree with him on, and that he can try to um, be friends with certain people, but I'm not gonna be friends with that crackers. So it was his basic speech, but that particular point of and it was interesting because I've read the autobiography, I've seen the movie, I've heard his speeches, but when I think about it, I've read his book, seen his movie, heard his speeches, but outside of that, I've always seen the separation, you know what I'm saying, and the racism, and even, you know, have heard it outside of Khalid Muhammad, you know. So but you don't really think about it sometimes when you're hearing the Malcolm X story, is what I'm saying. You don't actually think about it. You almost forget about it, and it kind of glosses over, and you know, in my mind it used to that point, you know. But what Khalid did when he mentioned it, he made me think about it in a way that is like, damn, you know, I never thought about it. I always let that shit pass. But every other time in my life, that shit is always racism and separation, you know what I'm saying, and Arab domination, as opposed to, you know, brotherhood, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
You talking about
So
when he went on his Hajj?
yeah, the Mecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, Malcolm did, you know, when he was on that trip, you know, he went to Africa
Mm-hmm.
and he met with Nkrumah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
met
yeah,
with a
yeah.
couple African leaders, and that's how he came up with the OAAU, right?
Exactly.
Because after the OAU,
Mm-hmm.
and actually that's how he came up with the concept of positive neutrality. Because at that time, Nkrumah and a couple African leaders, including his homie in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, they formed what you call the non-aligned movement.
Mm-hmm.
So the non-aligned movement was, we're not taking any sides with either Russia or United States, the Soviet Union or the United States, because of the Cold War. So you're either on one side or the other. And he said, well, we Africans have our own interests, and so we're going to form this thing called the non-aligned movement. So in other words, we'll fuck with you based on our interests,
Mm-hmm.
not yours,
Right.
right? So Malcolm came back with that idea. He came back with two ideas that he got from Nkrumah. Number one, there should be an OAAU, right? Because Nkrumah started the OAU and they put it in Ethiopia. And then he came with the concept of positive neutrality. And what that argument was, he talks about in the Ballad of the Bullet. And what that argument was that much like Africa's dealings with United States and Russia or Soviet Union in the Cold War, we have the same type of dichotomy in the United States between the Republicans and the Democrats. We know both of them are not our friends really, and they don't have our best interests at heart. So we are going to be positively neutral, not just neutral, but positively neutral, which means that we're going to be neutral to both of them, to the positive development of ourselves. So it's a
Exactly.
positive neutrality. It's not a negative neutrality or neutral neutrality. We're neutral up until the point that you're saying something we like to hear.
There you go.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that was, he took a lot from Pan Africanism and tried to bring it back to the United States for our people here. And I think that without that trip, he wouldn't have come up with those similar. And then he also, the third thing he came up with was taking the United States to the Court of International Justice. So he wanted to internationalize, whereas the civil rights movement was domesticating what was happening to black folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the torture and false imprisonments and justice system being skewed against us, economic system. Um, he saw that it was past a domestic affair, that it should actually be taken to the tribunal of the United Nations, where there are actually many, many African countries there who all look at us as brothers, because they look, when he got to Africa, he was welcomed with open arms.
Yep.
It's like, oh, Malcolm's here. Now let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, I don't know. I wouldn't say he wasn't a Pan-Africanist like that.
No. I think it was mostly concentrating on the white people,
The Muslim thing.
white brotherhood thing.
Okay, the white Muslim thing.
Yeah. He wasn't. That's why I was saying, it's kind of like if you say anything negative about Malcolm, you have to qualify.
Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I get
before
what you're
you
saying. That's
even
why.
say it.
Yeah. Now I get what you're saying because it's for so many people seen as blasphemy. But what we know at the age where we're at is nothing is beyond questioning.
Yeah.
And whenever you have a sacred cow, that's when you lose
Yes, sir.
because you may find out new information. And what I've liked to do is what I found out is that I'm not a fan of anybody.
Ha.
I'm a fan of ideas.
Yes, sir.
So based on the ideas that this person is espousing at that period of time will be how much I support them. But I don't really support them. I support the idea
Yeah.
because people are fickle. People can change. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And we get caught up and wrapped up in personality too much.
Yeah.
And I believe the best way for us to move is ideas over personality.
Yeah.
That cuts out the charlatans who are the good talkers,
Yeah.
which excite our people so much, right? The good talkers. And the crazy thing is, you as a singer, you as a songwriter, me as someone who's done poetry, me being a former lawyer, if we really wanted to exploit our gift of gab, we really could.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you could just start singing and get whatever you want. You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So it's it's always substance over style, man. And but no, that's a good point that you bring up, and people have to interrogate that. Like Malcolm, I love Malcolm, but that doesn't mean that every single aspect about Malcolm is something that you can't question, because then you start getting into worship.
Yeah. But
You know?
ideas are really the guerrilla move. It seems like a lot of it's crazy how we think that how we've been taught. Going back to Malcolm X, his first lesson in prison: believe the opposite. Believe the opposite of everything they say. And it's just like for the most part, we've been taught that the gangster shit is the street shit, but really the gangster shit is the science. The gangster shit, is the ideas and the innovation and
Yeah, that's what controls the world.
Yeah, that's that gangster shit.
Yeah.
Guns weren't made by what I'm saying, a tree growing guns. That a motherfucker thought about that shit, and a motherfucker, and it's crazy. The motherfuckers who thought about it, they didn't try to take over the world. It was some other crazy motherfuckers who saw that shit and was like, we could use that to take over the world.
Are you talking about Chinese with gunpowder?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And they had traveled the world. They had been everywhere, and they didn't try to take over the world with that shit. They tried. Matter of fact, they tried to keep it from white people. They knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but the Chinese weren't easy though.
No, man.
Yeah, let's not try to act like they're these benign group of people.
No.
Genghis Khan, even though he was Mongol, he took over the Chinese empire. But he's a Chinaman in the sense, he just existed before the Chinese dynasties. But Genghis Khan was a very, very, very brutal guy.
Yes, sir.
They say, I don't know if you ever heard this. I think they say 1 out of every 3 human beings on Earth has Genghis Khan's DNA in it.
I don't know if
or is it 1 out of 10?
Either you mentioned that to me, or I saw it on the History Channel or something like that. But yeah, I'm familiar with that stat.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen by accident.
No. Yeah. That a lot of people don't realize about like for instance, up until the 17, I'm sorry, not the 17, but up until like the 700s AD,
okay.
North Africa was still like sub-Saharan black.
Yeah.
And so people
just as a correction, real quick, is 1 in 100. 1 in 200 men are direct descendants of Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
On this planet, 1 in 200.
Yeah. And so during the time when Genghis Khan and then up from Alexander to Genghis Khan, you're dealing with Africans and dark skinned people in Asia and in China. And then as Genghis Khan came down and did his thing, that was when all of that shit started changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Genghis Khan story is crazy, man.
Wow.
Genghis Khan got a crazy, crazy story. I would implore anybody, take some time and check out Genghis Khan's biography. Whether you want to look at it on YouTube or whatever, but there's a movie about him. It wasn't an easy life, but that dude had a lot of power, boy, and what he went through to get it, because he was enslaved.
Mm.
Um, it's a hell of a story. And a
Yeah.
man with, and being the most powerful man on earth for a few decades too.
Yeah.
That's got to say a lot, and to be able to control hundreds of thousands of warriors during that time, to make warriors who kill for a living respect you, you had to be a bad man, because warfare was up close those days. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you could just bomb people from a plane. No, it was like you're literally watching you put a projectile from your hand into someone's stomach. You've got you've got swords. You're chopping off people's heads. You're like, it was very up close and personal, this type of warfare.
Yeah, yeah, but what they had at the time that no one else, could really, keep up with, on the scale of men doing this shit, was the way they could ride horses and shoot the arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, you trying to get up on their ass, but all right, you better make it through them damn arrows they shooting at you from afar on the horse. Why they running at?
Absolutely.
Why they coming straight
Absolutely.
at your ass? So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a
And
dangerous sport.
apparently,
It was a
yeah,
dangerous
and
sport.
apparently, Mongol children learn how to ride a horse at 3 years old. Before they could walk, they learn how to ride horses.
Like, like, man.
Now, you want to hear something funny, something crazier than the Mongols? The most deadly, merciless Native American group was the Comanches.
Hmm.
And the Comanches used to raid villages and just kill everyone mercilessly. And the way that they did it and the way that they took over was that they were the masters of horses as well. But, and they also, their children learned how to ride at infancy. Toddlers learning how to ride horses. What's so interesting about, they say so the Mongols, they show how the Mongols shot the arrow from the horse. So they had so much balance on the horse that they didn't need to hold on.
Hmm.
They could just ride the horse like that, going full speed,
Hmm.
pull a very heavy, heavy bow and arrow and strike. So these were very strong men,
Hmm.
right? Well, the Comanches, bro, their style of riding was, they would, the horse is moving, and they'd be on top of the horse, but they would be leaning down, and they would shoot the arrow in between the legs of the horse on the bottom side of the horse, bro. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I've
That
seen them lean, but I didn't know they was. I ain't.
that's how they would shoot the arrow. Because what would happen is, remember, you're riding a horse. If you're going on the other side of the horse to shoot the arrow, guess what's blocking you from getting shot? The horse.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
So
saying.
the horse is protecting you, and you're shooting under its legs.
Yeah.
That's craziness. And they were accurate. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the Comanches they're different. They used to terrorize other Native American groups, like completely terrorize them, man. All up in like the Oklahoma area,
Mm.
they used to terrorize them, man. Like literally just like really just wipe people out, like other Native American groups. Like like it's crazy. This shit was wild.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. That is
And
wild.
you know the last Comanche chief was a guy named something Parker. Forget his first name,
Hmm.
but he was half white in Comanche. His mother got kidnapped from a white settlement, a white fort, when she was like 10 years old. Because the Comanche used to do raids on the white settlers, and sometimes they would take hostages. Well, the mother got kidnapped as a little girl, and I think her name was Sarah Parker or something like that. Let me find out this kid's this the chief's name, the last chief of the Comanches. His last name was Parker.
Quanah Parker.
Quanah Parker, that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Quanah Parker's mother is a white woman who was kidnapped by the Comanche. And get this, she grows up. The Comanche teach her everything in life, right? She grows up to be a woman, and she ends up marrying the chief of the Comanches.
Mm.
Well, the Comanches start negotiating with white people, and the white negotiators see her. It's like, wait, she's not one of y'all, she's one of us. They start talking to her, and it's like, look, we came to negotiate, da 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 da. You can go back with us. Like, we want you to come back with us. Your family misses you, all types of shit. Bro, she went back to like visit and ran right back to the Comanches
Hell yeah.
because she preferred life as a Comanche more than life as a white settler. And then she gave birth to this guy, Quanah Parker. It's a crazy story, man. It's a crazy story. People should check it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, just want to chime in, just chop it up with you, bro.
I
And I know
appreciate.
the people
I
tuning
appreciate.
in, people ain't used to this type of chop up.
Wow,
We just
man.
ran through some history right there.
Yes, sir.
Um, you know, for the people listening, man, what you're gonna find out, there's a lot of brothers who's very well rounded, who's got a lot of things going on, in our minds. And this is just an opportunity for us to actually, most of the time we wouldn't make our conversations public.
Yeah.
But Keenan's decided to make it public in terms of what he's doing from his platform. And what you're going to find is, he's much more than meets the eye, and it's much more than just someone who plays music per se. I would say that Keenan just happens to play music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? He happens to. It's like, you love your people, you want to do something for your people, and it just turns out people say that you're a good singer too. So you just
Yeah.
do that too.
There you
You
go.
understand what I'm saying? So you just do music because people tell you you're good at it. So you do it too. But so it's like the difference between someone who is a musician and then someone who is a lover of their people who happens to be a musician. Because what happens is that that musician will know nothing about history.
Yeah.
But the person who loves their people is trying to figure things out.
Yeah, man.
We're trying to, so that's why he
Absolutely.
will know about a Candace Parker and a Thomas Sowell, and we'll have these conversations about Genghis Khan and Malcolm X, because it's someone who loves his people who just happens to be a musician, not the
Yeah.
other way around. Talk to most musicians, everything would fly, what we're talking about would fly over their heads because they're musicians.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we happen to be what we are out of necessity, and we want to use every advantage or talent that we have to forward our vision of freeing up our people.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So that's what I hope people are getting from this uh whole live movement, man. And
Yeah.
it's very necessary. It's
Yeah.
extremely necessary. And what we get to find out from me going live, and then from you going live too, what we get to find out is people are texting me saying, yo, what's the next topic? This is like, I'm so comfortable watching this show that like I feel like I'm missing out if I miss an episode.
There you
You
go.
know what I'm saying? And that's what this is all about, is just to create a space where we can have the conversations that usually aren't had. You
There
know, with
you,
no holds bar, with brothers who actually do their research and give things thought. Like that's what's important, is like
exactly.
you don't have to agree with anything that me or Keenan or anybody else is saying, but one thing that you can't say is that it wasn't given thought.
That's right.
You know, so I mean that's what this whole movement is about. It's thoughtful podcasting, thoughtful conversations that when you, after you leave, any podcast that Keenan does, I do, whoever, Baruch, in our circle, when we're making ourselves more available, I guarantee you that there will be at least one thing that you learned that you did not know.
How about it?
And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
And and
Keenan, man.
and I'd like to add, to that there'll be at least one time that you smile and
Yeah,
probably even laugh,
yeah,
So, all of it's relevant. You know what I'm saying? All of it's relevant. Iron sharpens iron. I appreciate you
yeah,
coming
man.
on, brother.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
check him out Monday through Thursday. He's doing the same thing on the same platform, but in his own Imhotep like way. And we appreciate him, so much. And we appreciate all the brothers. Appreciate everybody who was on this evening, who came through. Mike P. Appreciate anybody, all the people who's checked us out. Brother Ashigun, appreciate you in the chat. We're gonna wrap up for the evening. We had a good show, a good first launch of the Rastafunk live, and making you actually feel a little bit of the internalize that goes through in my mind, and hopefully you was able to internalize one or two things this evening as well. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock. We'll be here for a couple of hours. Doing a little bit more than just shooting the shit, but we definitely want to see anybody who came to come back. Definitely, if you appreciate us, we got the cash app going, so hook us up, because we definitely gonna put it towards positive things in the community and positive things, to better Africa. And when it's all said and done, we will see you tomorrow. We appreciate you, brother Heru.
Yeah, man.
And we're gonna keep this thing going for the foreseeable future, and we hope that y'all ride with us. Peace out.
Peace.